kind of start off with who are you and what would you say you do music
Who
wise?
or how? I'm fine. How? I'm doing great. It's a lovely Monday. Who? My name is Buddy Blues. I've been a touring musician for the better part of about 20 years. Um, been playing music since I was four, but started on piano. Um, but guitar, which is what most people know me from, I've been playing live for about 20 years now, which sounds like a very long time to some. To others, it's not, but I'm starting to feel old, starting to feel it. So, had several bands throughout the years, had a band from where I'm from originally in Lebanon, played many shows there, and then moved to the States, started my own band, well, joined several bands, started my own band, then started playing with a few big names here and there, toured the States, and then came back and really focused on my band. Then COVID happened. And then when COVID happened, I decided to move me to the online world.
Okay.
I've always had an Instagram. I always
Yeah.
posted pictures of my guitar, posted pictures of myself playing, where we're playing next, shows and stuff like that. Then in 2020, I decided to try my hand at YouTube, and that has been the best decision I've ever made in my life.
Okay. So did you have any plans to go to YouTube before COVID?
Never,
Never. It
never.
was it was
But
literally COVID that made you do it.
yeah, but I was always a huge fan. I was always
Okay.
a huge fan of guitar YouTube from the heydays of guitar, Andertons, all these guys.
Yeah.
I've always watched YouTube. I still do to this day. I've never stopped. It's my
Yeah.
favorite thing to do.
Yeah. It's good to hear other YouTubers watching YouTube because I feel like when you create content for a YouTube, it pulls you away from enjoying other YouTubers. So
Right. And many do at the end stop. Like I would ask people, "Hey, have you seen the video of blah blah blah?" They say, "No, I don't really watch YouTube anymore now that I do it." And
mm,
that's just so weird to me.
it's so
That's all I want to do.
and
And
there's so
sometimes
much
even if it's
content out
on,
there.
yeah, if it's on, like for example, if there's a better release, let's say, and I'm on the release myself, I would still watch all the other ones.
Yeah.
It's fun.
So you said you swapped from piano to guitar.
Mhm.
What made you do that swap? Was it always an instrument you wanted to play, or
I No, it was around the age of four. I've always wanted to. I thought I would never leave. I used to play classical piano,
okay,
Chopin,
okay, yeah,
Liszt,
yeah.
Beethoven, stuff like that. But when I got to the age of, I think 14, I really wanted to do something else. I wanted to move elsewhere. My brother had started getting into, he's 2 years older. Also started on piano, ended up on bass. But he started getting into newer music. I mean, we're talking classical, I was 60 music of the 1400s, it's 1500s, 1600s. He started getting into jazz. He started getting into that stuff. And, Big Brother, you always look up to him and all that.
Hmm.
So I wanted to join that. So there was really a time where I think it was 6 months to where we were thinking we want to do something other than piano. He wanted to play bass and I wanted to play guitar. So I Googled electric guitar. Google was new back then. And the first thing I got was an Ibanez Iceman, the
Oh,
Paul Stanley from
yeah.
Kiss. Like that is going to be my personality for the rest of my life.
So would you say playing classical shaped your guitar playing even to this day?
It certainly influenced it in a way. It helped. See, my mother helped a lot with that, is because she would make us listen to music when we were very young, 4 or 5 years old.
Hmm.
And she would kind of ask us how that made you feel or stuff like that. I don't think she knew what she was doing, but what she was doing is ear training for us. So I started understanding the different things, like how does a minor feel? How does
Yeah,
major feel? What is resolved? How a piece ends, or when you go back to the root, whatever.
yeah.
I started, and that's not like some prodigy. Literally everybody can do that. Literally everyone can do that. But it started training me from a young age. So I did develop a good ear, which I think is I think it is one of my strongest suits rather than actual playing. I think I do have a good ear. I hope I have a good ear.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, this whole career is for nothing. But I hope I have a good ear. But classical music helped me develop an ear to listening to different things and what they're doing, what they should do. And that certainly has helped me more in the band setting rather
Mhm.
than actual guitar playing, like Yngwie Malmsteen, for example.
So you said you were touring and all that.
Mhm.
How was that? How did you find touring? I know you said YouTube was the best thing you've ever done now, but
Yeah.
do you look back on touring with fond memories? Do you think it's glamorized a bit?
It, it- oh, that's going to be how much time do you have? it, it 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 was it's an experience I would never ever trade because it gets you very close. There's being in a band together and playing shows around town. And then there's really being in a band together
Mhm.
because it forces you, no matter how close the band is, we're four different people, four completely different people. And my band was four people from very different generations. I had my keyboard player at the time was in his late 50s, 60s, even.
Okay.
My bass player was in his mid 60s. My drummer was 18. And I was at the time, I think, like in my mid 20s to early 30s. So you're together all the time. You really do form a relationship, not only with your instrument and with each other's instruments, but personality wise. So that I wouldn't trade. That's the my band touring thing.
Yeah.
It was exhausting. It's very taxing and all of that. Sure. I do look back on it with fond memories. The touring with like the bigger artists and stuff like that, touring with other bands, that I do not miss. Believe it or not, I
Really?
don't miss that. It was good to get my name out there. It's like, oh, Buddy's playing with John Mayall. Wow. Cool. But may he rest in peace. But it was a lot of work. And quite frankly, the money wasn't there.
Okay.
It was just
Yeah.
a lot of away time. Again, the experience was amazing. I sound ungrateful. The experience, the experience was amazing. I wouldn't trade it with the world. I learned so much. I learned so much because leaving my band, packing venues and huge crowds, like I'm the shit. Like, are you kidding me? I'm Buddy Blues. And then you go and you meet real musicians, and then you're immediately put in your
Just brings
place.
you back down a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, whoa, no, 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 we're not gonna do any of that. That solo that you did, let's do 1 minute of it and do nothing of what you just did because that sucked. I'm thinking, man, that was my best. So
So is
then you
that is
realize that your best really isn't sometimes what the song needs.
so is that something you notice? They're more openly critical on your playing.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Once I understood and I'm still learning. We all are. Every
Yeah.
day we're
Yeah.
learning. But once I understood how to serve a song rather than how to be Paul Stanley slash,
Mm.
which again we don't put my name in these in that category, but that idea of guitar frontman, the singer, the big guitars, loud fuzz. Once I understood that that is just the show, but there's a whole serving the song behind that,
Yeah.
and the band will forever be more important. The Buddy Blues Band, Buddy Blues is the least important member of the Buddy Blues Band. Once I understood that, a lot opened up. But then that comes with maturity. That comes again, young 20s, you think
Yeah.
you're everything, you are nothing. And then you realize very quickly that you are nobody. But it really is a very important part of the process is learning how you're serving the song rather than serving the as a guitarist your ego really like that.
Mm.
And my brother helped with that big time
I
when
think
we were in a band together.
all guitarists are probably guilty of ego, aren't they? It's probably the one
Yeah,
instrument where we're the most
yeah.
guilty.
Literally, look, this guitar hanging in the guitar. Like, what are you doing? Put it in the case.
Yeah, you speak to any other musician about this guitar sounds better or something, and they'll be like, "Don't hear it," and you're like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
maybe it was a waste of money."
Yeah. It's exactly the same.
So segues on nicely to gear, being someone that reviews gear yourself and loves
Mhm.
gear. I noticed, is it fair to say you're quite analog?
Yes.
Would that be a fair?
Yes, nothing to do with I don't like digital and
Mhm.
everything to do with I am an imbecile. So getting to figure stuff out is very difficult. For menu diving is very difficult for me. Very, very difficult. Like I have right there, I'm looking at it right now. I've got a Helix HX Stomp.
Okay, yeah.
I've had to ask so many people, including one of the people that designed the UI.
Wow.
I've had to ask so many people for the simplest things. Hey, I'd like to put the delay after. Is that possible? Yeah, just click it and drag it. Yeah, it's not a touchscreen, so what do I do?
Oh yeah, they're not, are they?
So I much prefer. Plus, you gotta come. You gotta think of the like all the session work and the studio work that I've done. You can't menu dive. You
No.
can't menu dive in a studio. If someone says less, more brightness, less drive, I can't click and
Yeah.
start, rearranging boxes and stuff like that.
Open the
It's
manual to find out what you need to do.
yeah, yeah. More tone, less gain. Done.
So can you see yourself ever using more digital? Or is it
The-
literally the menu dive in and the
I
programming almost that
if
puts you
it's
off?
easy, if
Yeah.
it's easy, yes. I mean, I've got a pedal board that has the Morningstar MC6
Okay, yeah.
MIDI thing, the hub, the MIDI controller,
Hmm.
and I've got some pedals that do MIDI. I made a video about it saying how easy MIDI is once you understand it, and I do believe that. I told the truth, but it's more of I'm never going to change a single setting. That's it. Like that board is
Yeah.
that board forever. I'm never doing that again. Once
Yeah.
I figured it out, it became very easy. I'm never doing that again.
You don't need to. True.
But
Okay.
seeing myself like with a neural DSP quad cortex,
Yeah.
if it's easy to use and it sounds good, sure. Otherwise, kind of like a Strymon Iridium or
Yeah.
the Universal Audio Dream 65. Those
Mm.
are easy to use.
Yeah.
I know how to use those. Other than that, no.
Yeah. I've just been using the Boss IR2.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Easy to use, simple, and I
Hmm.
can keep my analog board with it.
Yeah.
So it's sort of a hybrid sort of thing, and I think
Yep.
that's the perfect combo then.
Hmm. Plus, you have to keep in mind that before 2020, I never used pedals ever.
Oh, you straight to
Always, always, always. My
straight on.
entire music career up until YouTube, which really after I started doing YouTube, I started doing less show. I used to play 4 or 5 shows a night and
Hmm.
all of that. Oh, sorry, 4 or 5 shows a night. Jesus Christ, four,
Hmm.
4 or 5 shows a week. And it was always guitar, cable, amp, never used the pedal.
Okay.
And if you go back on my Instagram, you'll see me making fun of pedals, me saying, I'll never use pedals. I hate pedals. Why are you using pedals? So
Now
it
look.
was lockdown and trying to discover different things. That's what got me into pedals.
So when you're doing a gig now, do you try and keep it as basic as possible? Do you try and go
Yes.
guitar to amp and then add what you need?
Yes. Sometimes last we played a festival not long ago. It was a big festival and it was a huge open area. So I really wanted to do the whole 2 amp thing, stereo on certain effects. That one I took a big board to, but usually it's if I can get away with it, it 2 channel amp, like a Fender Supersonic,
Hmm.
2 channel amp, very loud settings, and volume control on a Strat. That
Yeah.
I could do that gig a million times because I've done that gig a million times. That's how I toured with all the time. Guitar, amp,
Guitar amp and
whatever
volume.
amp the venue had.
Oh, that's a skill as well, isn't it? Learning to.
Yeah, yeah. So I always made it work.
Would you say that's a skill you've got to have then as a sort of a hired gun touring musician to make stuff work? Do you think a lot
You
of
have to.
guitarists, yeah, a lot of guitarists get sort of settled in their rig?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, you have to because a lot of times they're gonna say we have a. Here's one example. For example, we were on a tour to Indiana. I live in Florida, Indiana, and we played shows all around there. But at the final show, the big show, it was the Something Blues Festival, Indianapolis Blues Festival. They said we have bring nothing except your instruments. We have everything. We have an old Fender amp. I want nothing else. Thank you very much. We have an old Fender amp. It works great. We have drums we have blah 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 blah, all of that stuff. I don't know what got into me, and I did film this. I don't know what got into me, but I put a small pedalboard together with a Strymon Iridium
Mhm.
as a just in case. And from the Iridium, I could go straight to the house and all of that.
Yeah.
I got there and it was a Fender, and there's nothing wrong with those, but again, it was a big arena. It was a Fender, what do you call them? Frontman. It was a
Okay,
Fender
yeah.
front. Yeah, I think it's 50 watts or something. It was the most horrible sounding amp I'd ever heard. And the Fender Frontman itself is good. I used to have one. The Frontman 100 is good, but that one had something that was broken in it. I think the speaker was cut or
Oh,
something, and it
no.
sounded just distorted in the most ugliest ways. So yeah, an old Fender amp. Yeah, it is old from like 2013, 12.
I mean, they were right, it worked. It just
Yeah, it was
didn't
just
fully
terrible.
work.
Yeah.
So, good segue to, do you think tone improves playing?
Yes. But that's very weird that you asked me that, because I was talking about that last night with a friend of mine. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I 100%, because whenever you're comfortable and in the
Yeah.
zone. Who was I talking to about this? Hold on. I was talking to Chris from Pedal Pond.
Okay, yeah.
Chris Robinson, remarkable guitar player. Anyway, he's also, you were right, mate. He's
He's one of us.
yes, he's one of us. Yeah, I was talking to Chris about that on, I think, on his show. Whenever you're in a zone that is, you've got a really good sound going, it really makes you play better, because it makes you enjoy playing better, and it
Mm.
makes you stop getting in your head of, oh God, this is too bright, or whatever, it's too boomy, I can't hear myself, I can't hear. If everything is working and your tone is lovely, that really takes away all the barricades to you just enjoying yourself playing, because
Yeah.
that's at the end of it, whether it's a show, whether it's a whatever, at the end of it, that's the point, is
Just to
to
enjoy
have
what you're
fun.
playing.
Yeah.
So, on the flip side of that,
Mhm.
do you think a lot of people chase gear to get tone rather than learning the gear they got to get the tone they want?
Yes,
Yeah.
certainly. I wouldn't say it's a disease, but it is there's two sides to look at this. I've always said that. There's the one side of, yeah, but why do you need another tube screamer? And when all you need to do is turn your amp up, sit down and practice. All you got to do is practice. There is that side of the aisle, and it's a valid side of the aisle. But I immediately challenge it with, right, are you playing the Royal Albert Hall tomorrow? Tomorrow. Are you playing Madison Square Garden tomorrow? You're allowed to also have fun. Not everything has
Yeah.
to be, I need to practice and I need to do this and I need to, but my triads, I need to work on my triads because this YouTuber said the word triads 4 times. So I got to work on do that. Certainly get
Yeah.
better, especially if that is your career, get better. But if you're a bedroom player, there is absolutely nothing wrong with collecting pedals. It really is a harmless, unless your children are hungry and you're out here buying $600 plus pedals. It's really a harmless hobby.
Yeah.
You could enjoy that new Tube Screamer that just came out, which is a copy of a blah blah blah. Who cares?
Mm.
If you find joy in that, and if that gets you to pick up your guitar and sit down and play, are we
Exactly.
not
Yeah.
ending up here a little bit?
Yeah. If the goal is to play more and that bit of gear inspires you to play more,
Yeah, yeah,
then
it's fun. And people think that I'm doing all these YouTube reviews and blah blah blah. I've stopped buying pedals. Dude, you have no. I have 3 coming today that I bought. 3 on any time the door will ring right now that I bought at full price. So
same.
yeah, it's fun. It really is fun to
It is
collect them
fun.
and to play them, and they're all different a little bit.
Yeah. So, is there any pedals or gear in general? I have a feeling I know what you're going to say to this that
Mhm.
surprised you, both good and bad. Anything that's not what you thought it was going to be, and anything that surpassed your expectations.
Surpassed my expectations. The new Jackson Audio Twin Trem.
Okay.
Because on paper they told me, I like tremolo. I don't love tremolo. I like tremolo. On paper they said, we're coming up with a collaboration with Silvertone. It's going to be an optical tremolo and it's going to be a harmonic tremolo. and you get to choose between them, or you can run them at the same time. I'm like, running two tremolos at the same time, man, you're never going to get the rate right, and it's going to be
Yeah.
weird. I played that, and I called it the pedal of the year.
Really.
And I'm not a huge fan of tremolo. I almost never use tremolo. I think the innovation in that was remarkable. I love that. I love how they did something finally new. Like, we don't really have two tremolos that you can turn on at the same time
Yeah.
in one pedal, or run them independently to two separate amps. So I thought that was remarkable. All the LPD stuff. Anytime he comes up with something, he's one of those mad geniuses. Sabatius, Apollo approved. I can go on for years. The new Origin. I got to edit that actually after this. The new. I'm late. The new Origin Deluxe 55. They recreated an
Oh
amp.
yeah.
Remarkable job, especially like if you push everything, the level and the drive, it truly sounds like you're in a room with an amp that's dying.
Oh really?
And
Smashed.
many, and the ones that don't impress me, I usually don't don't talk about them because I'm not trying to hurt the company, and B, I don't usually do the demo. I send them back. I send about one a week back. If I don't gel with it, if it doesn't inspire me to do something with it, it's not fair for the company. It's not fair for the channel. It's not fair for the viewers. I just send it back.
It's good to hear someone have the same sort of attitude as me. It's like,
yeah,
I do a lot of work with like UK builders, like people that build in one pedal a month.
Yeah,
and a bad review could ruin their company. So it's not fair on someone to put out a bad review just for the content. I'd rather go back to them and be like, this is what I didn't like.
Right.
And see if they improve it.
Yeah, exactly. And a bad review means I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Someone else might. I mean, so it's who am I?
This is all opinion
I don't know what
based.
the language. I don't know what the PC
Say what you want.
level.
Say what you want.
Yeah, it's like, who am I to tell you that this sucks?
Yeah.
We love negativity. We're humans, not the guitar player. Humans, we love negativity.
We feed on it.
If you see two thumbnails, one that says, "You won't believe what happens next. Man gets injured in whatever," and you see cute cat, you're gonna click that.
Click that one, yeah.
I want to see what happened to this guy. We love that stuff. I try not to. Plus, I work a lot with, just like you, I work a lot with small businesses. It's what I like to promote the most on the channel. So yeah, one like you said, one bad review is going to be detrimental.
Yeah.
So I just avoid them. I didn't like it. You might.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say your heritage that you got recently. I thought that was going to be the best bit of gear you've had recently.
Oh, I thought we were talking pedals. Oh, the heritage. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, anything you want.
Yeah. Heritage. Yeah. The heritage is here. Everything else is there. Yeah. I cannot put that guitar down. It is so beautiful. And it plays so, it's one of those things that we were talking about just a second ago. You walk into a room, you look at it, it makes you want to play. If I'm playing, I am improving. That is, there is no, I'm at a plateau, maybe. But if you're playing, you're improving. You're improving something. Yeah, heritage. Oh my goodness. I thought we were talking just pedals. Yeah, heritage. Oh my God. If you want to go, we can go. We can talk about amps, the Victory Deputy. That is the best. Like, oh yeah.
I was very jealous of the heritage when I saw the picture.
It's beautiful. It really, there is not a single flaw on that guitar. Now, I looked everywhere, inside. I looked inside. They clean up the inside.
Do they?
Oh yeah, every single. There's not like a splinter of wood. There's no overspray. There's nothing.
I'm currently reviewing the you heard of Vintage Guitars, the brand?
Yes.
The sort of affordable range. I'm doing their sort of 335.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's something to do with semi-hollow 335-ish guitars, but I bond very easily with them, and I love playing them.
Yeah.
You pick any price range of one up, and they're just nice to play.
Yep. And notes last forever. Notes sound different. Notes sound better on them. Yeah. No, I agree. I've got two. I used to have three. I used to have four. I've got two now. After I got the heritage, I got rid of so many things because it filled that. I got rid of the Epiphone. I had an Epiphone 3 Sheridan, so 335. Yeah. And I had a Casino as well.
Okay.
I just sold those. And I gave the Casino to a friend of mine, and I sold the Sheridan. I'm like, there's no, this is it. I'm looking at their H150 now, their Les Paul style.
Yeah, I started
I'm
off
looking
playing
at
on a
one of
Les
those.
Paul and then sold it. Don't have a Les Paul.
You
And then
must.
I went to the Gibson garage in London.
That opened?
Yes,
Nice.
it's nice.
Yeah.
They got a good selection of left-handed stuff as well. So
Yeah. Yeah, right. See, it's
yeah,
extremely difficult for you to find any of those.
it's better,
Yeah.
but you'll really like an instrument like the blah 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 left-handed, not available, and you'll
Yeah.
be like, oh, we're here again.
Yeah. Is it I've always wanted to ask that. Is it weird when you, as a left-handed player, look at a
Yeah,
regular Strat?
it's weird when I look at a left-handed Strat.
Is it? Yeah.
If I film myself, then watch myself, I'm like, nah, that's wrong.
Yeah, it's
It's
upside
so
down.
strange.
Yeah. They look to me, they look so strange. They look so upside
It's,
down and strange.
I
But
know.
I mean, Doyle Bramhall, Albert King,
Yeah,
Jimi Hendrix,
Jimi Hendrix,
really
Kurt
all the
Cobain.
greats. All the
I
greats have
know.
always been left-handed.
So, is there any? Do you sell much stuff? I know you said about your Epiphones, but like pedals, amps, do you continuously sell stuff? And is there any stuff you regret selling?
Yes. Oh God. But do I sell? Not really. I
No.
don't. I don't sell many things unless. So, for example, I wanted that the Les Paul that I got, the Murphy
Mhm.
Lab. It was honestly ridiculously expensive, unacceptably expensive, but it was the best Les Paul I've ever played, and I've owned about 10 Les Pauls over the years, all Gibsons. Every single one that I've had, I've ended up selling. I can't bond with one. It's with zero regrets, by the way. I've ended
Okay.
up
Okay.
selling because it's not it. It's not for me. Les Pauls aren't for me. I played that one at a Guitar Center. It was the price of a Honda Civic. T- Unacceptably expensive, but I had to have it. So for that one, I ended up selling a whole bunch of stuff, a lot of pedals, a lot of one amp. I sold my Fender Supersonic. And what else did I sell? I sold another Gibson Les Paul that I had, a custom Les Paul that I had, and I had to get it, and I don't regret that. But I did have a vintage Strat that I regret selling. It was a
Oh.
1970. Between 69 and 71, Fender essentially made the same guitar.
Mhm.
Nothing changed. 69, 70, 71, nothing changed. Middle of 71, they changed to a 3-bolt on the back of the neck,
Mhm.
but mine was a 4-bolt. So essentially, I had the same Strat that Hendrix played. Again, 69, 70, 71, the same. And I ended up selling it. I regret in 2013, I sold it. I regretted that every day. And the kicker is that I never paid for that guitar. It was just given to me. Yeah, by our old
Wow.
band manager that said, this belonged to a friend of mine. He passed away. I don't know if it's worth anything. You can have it. You play guitar. Just, yeah,
Not often that comes up, is it? Tips like that.
right. Yeah, free. It was free. And I ended up selling it like an imbecile.
What's your views on vintage gear? Are they
I
better
deal,
or?
no, I, I deal with a lot of vintage. Every year I do the vintage guitar show with Guitar Center. So I go to the vintage guitar show and we, buy and sell and check
Mhm.
stuff out. So I see a lot of them. With vintage gear, it is just as rare to find the one as it is to find a new one. Like you want to buy a Les Paul, you go to Anderton's, wherever, and you try several. This one is good. This one sucks. I don't know why they made this one. This is the best thing in the world. This is too expensive. It's the same thing with vintage guitars. They aren't necessarily better because, oh, they back in my day, they used to make them better in my day. Well, they're more consistent now, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is my argument. Yeah,
yeah. I
it's.
mean,
I
they're
guess
way more consistent.
it's the good ones that have lasted.
Yes, but
Yeah.
every once in a while, again, just like it, you'll find one that was made very well, just like today. But generally, if it's kind of like buying an old car, which I have never done. I don't know why I'm giving this analogy, but I shall commit to it. It's like buying an old car, an old Plymouth, and you're not just buying the car, you're buying the problems with it that you're going to
Mm,
have to fix. If you're handy, if you're a good luthier, if you know a good luthier, great. If you don't, you've essentially bought someone else's problem.
Probably, yeah. You've
Yeah,
solved their problem for them, really.
yeah. They're so much better. I mean, a fuzz face from 1968 is, well, here it is. This was
Yeah,
made 2 years ago. That's better, and it's more consistent, and it's more,
consistency.
yeah, it's more reliable, way more reliable.
I
So
guess
it's
is that your touring head switching on there, where you want reliability over sort of cool vintage stuff? You'd rather something that works consistently night
certainly,
after night. Yeah.
certainly, just like when I bought the Gibson 355, the one that I ended up buying was it was a 2007. The one that I really wanted was a 1963. A 1963 would require that I would have to sell the dog, and he's sitting right there next to me. Always, always on the brink of being returned to the pound
Yeah.
13 years later.
Every time
Or
you want something
sold.
you like.
Yeah, he must always be on guard. But yeah, but I started thinking, I mean, why do I want the 90s? Why? Because Clapton had one, because blah blah blah, because on Instagram will like it better if I say 90s. Who cares?
Yeah.
The 2007 is so reliable and solid and great. The pickups sucked. The pickups were horrible. So I contacted the Stu from Sun Bear, if you know him,
Yeah, I know some.
best pickups on earth,
Yeah.
and he made pickups specifically for that guitar.
Okay.
So I now brought it from here all the way up to here.
Also recommend Alchemy pickups in the UK. Really good
I've heard of
guy.
them. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've got them in all my custom builds, and
Nice.
again, he'll build them to what you need. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so what's the plans for the future then? Just continue to grow the YouTube, more reviews, more.
I think I've stopped playing live shows in April of this year. I haven't been on stage since April of this year, which has been good, but it's been very, again, 20 years nonstop, and then suddenly. I think I wanted to focus more on the YouTube channel. I want to do more different videos rather than just reviews. There's nothing wrong with it. I love doing reviews. There's nothing wrong with those, but I think I want to do other stuff as well. I don't want to get into lessons. I don't want to do any of that. I'm not good at teaching. I'm not good at playing, let alone teach.
I disagree with that.
Thank you. So I don't want to go to the lessons route, but I do want to go more towards the more around the guitar itself, more how to have fun with your guitar and stuff like that. I did do a series last year called the How To series. Those were fun. I think I want to do more of those. It's more of how to use a compressor, how to use a fuzz. Why do you hate fuzz? Let me show you different ways, stuff like that.
Oh,
So
that's
not just
interesting.
necessarily reviews.
Yeah. Oh, nice one. Thank you so much for your time today.
Anytime. Thank you.